everyone, it's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, with another 10ish-minute review. Okay, we're just cranking these things out. We watched a scary movie. Listen, it's been a long time since I've watched an Aamir Khan film. So I've decided this episode, I picked an Aamir Khan film. And I was going through my queue and looked at all the different streaming services. And one that caught my eye was a film called The Mumbai Diaries, or Dhobi Ghat, which was a film from 2010. I didn't know anything about it. I know some people have recommended it, and I'm a big Aamir Khan fan, so I decided to watch it. And the runtime was short, which intrigued me even more. Since I'm watching so many of these films, I don't want to get, I can't watch 5 3-hour films in a row. It's just too much. But anyway, before I get to that, I do want to say something. So I tried watching Golmaal Returns, which I believe was the fourth Golmaal. It was either the third or the fourth. And I did not like the first one. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. So, and I have not done this before, but I've watched the first 20 minutes of it. And then I just said, I can't watch this movie. It was just, I don't get it. I know the culture's different. I know the humor's different. I don't get it. I don't know if the movie did well, but I couldn't get through it. And I just stopped watching it. So I picked this one instead. And I watched this one. So if you like that film, I'm sorry. I just couldn't get through it. It looked ridiculous, just what little I saw. So I'm going to do this one, Dhobi Ghat, which was also known as the Mumbai Diaries. It was written and directed by Kiran Rao, and it stars Monica Dogra, Prateik Patil Babbar, Kriti Malhorta, who is a costume designer on Ms. Marvel, Baby, and the Netflix film Extraction with Chris Hemsworth, and Aamir Khan. Now, in the credits, he's the last one mentioned, so he doesn't get top billing in this. And in watching the film, I get why. He's very little dialogue in this film. He does almost all of his acting with his eyes, his emotions. And I got to tell you something about this film. I read the reviews on it after I watched it, and there were a lot of people who didn't like it. And it's almost like, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it's almost like they got a thing about Aamir Khan, so they weren't going to like the film no matter what. This was such a different film for me, and I don't know, it resonated with me. It's a very quiet film. There's none of the Bollywood tropes that you would normally see. Over the top, some of the over top acting, the big production musical numbers, none of that. This was like, it almost had a documentary feel to it, the way it was shot. And from what I understand, it was shot with a DSLR. But it's very quiet. It's about 4 people whose lives intersect. And that's basically what the film is about. And it's a kind of a slice of life film set in Bombay, which I have not seen a lot of, especially this section of Bombay. So Khan, who plays an artist, and it starts off with him at an art show, and he meets this American who is taking a sabbatical in India, and they hook up. And they don't show anything because they never do, but they talked about it very frankly. A little more open than I've seen in a lot of Indian movies. And the young lady, Monica Dogra, who played opposite him, she played Shy. I really liked her. And here's the other thing about this film. I would say 40 to 50% of it was in English. They were speaking English. And that also helped me get more involved in it because I didn't have to look at subtitles the whole time. And I think it added to the experience. So it's a story about the artist Shy, who's a financial person that's on sabbatical taking photos, a young guy that does laundry. He's actually the Dhobi, and his name was Muna. And then the fourth character, which I found that was Khan's story. He moves into an apartment and finds these videotapes, and the videotapes are of a young bride who's leaving letters to her brother through video. And that was a really interesting story that that put Khan through a lot. So it opens up in Bombay. Like I said, they show you Bombay. And there was some, they hooked up, and then he kind of freaked out because he's a loner. He's an artist. He doesn't get involved with anybody. And after they split up, she starts stalking him with her camera. That was kind of creepy. But there was one scene where she's eating. I don't know why this just made me laugh, but she's eating, and she had this giant slice of watermelon that was like this wide. You know what I mean? Usually you have like a piece, like looks like a piece of a pie. No. This chick had like a huge watermelon, and she's just sitting there mowing on it. So she ends up forming a relationship with the laundry guy, who's an actor. So she's going to take some photos of him, and he's definitely into her. She's still into Aamir Khan. And the young guy who I thought was very good in this, Prateik. He's got this little ratty apartment. This movie's really about the caste system. She's well off. Muna isn't well off. In fact, his apartment leaks, although he did have a poster of Salman Khan behind the bed. He looked like he was dressed up as Elvis, which makes me like Salman Khan even more. But he lives in squalor, and he also, his jobs, they look down upon him. That actually affects his and Shy's relationship. There's and they do intersect throughout the movie, and there are scenes where they pass each other, but they don't see each other. So there's a lot of that throughout the film. This is a hard one to explain, but ultimately, well, I guess I'm jumping ahead. I shouldn't get to the end yet. But they do this one thing where they show her. This is a scene that I found really interesting. They did a scene where they showed her pictures of that she was taking in Bombay, and it was all done in black and white. It was a montage, and it was like the faces of Bombay, and it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. The photos were beautiful. The faces and the stories that each face told. I really loved that. I loved the music in this. It was great background music. I thought all the performances were really good. But this was a very quiet film. The ending, I will tell you, I'll give you one ending that you kind of could tell it was coming. The young lady in the videos, who was just the first video, there's 3 tapes. And the first one, she's so full of life. You could tell how happy she was. And she ended up being his muse. He ended up painting as a result of watching these tapes. Then the second one, same thing, but just a little more laid back. And then the third one, she's desperate. Her husband's cheating on her. And you could see it in his eyes, what she was trying to explain that she was about to do. And then he looks up at the ceiling in the apartment, and there's a hook where a lamp used to be, where the woman hung herself. And that was pretty, the way he played that, because again, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in this film. He does everything through the face, and he doesn't do the Aamir Khan stuff, like the bug eyes, the big facial expressions, none of that. This was about as grounded a role that I have seen him in. And I think partially because he wasn't in the whole film. It wasn't all on him, but I really liked him in this. I liked everybody in the cast. And it was kind of sad because it really was about the caste system. And it didn't start off that way, but it definitely ended that way. The way people were talking about Muna and his jobs, and he's not going anywhere because he's uneducated and all this other stuff. But I tell you, I give this one 4 Ladus. It was unlike any of these films I've seen. I thought Bombay, it wasn't like it was, it's hard to explain. It wasn't like it was a beautiful city. It wasn't. It was rough, but the way it was shot was beautiful. And there's one scene where he goes on the beach and he's looking out, and that was just beautiful. But I really enjoyed this film. I don't know. There was something about it that touched me in a way that most of these films don't. So, and I read the reviews. Some people hated this movie. But I got to tell you something. I liked it. It was so, it reminded me a lot of the Malayalam films are very grounded. This was very grounded. The performances were, the locations were. So yeah, 4 Ladus for me. Another, and again, I didn't know Aamir Khan was not going to be the lead. He was just one of many, but I thought it's amazing what a good actor can do with just their eyes, with like a silent movie, like Barfi. I love Barfi, and that guy didn't say anything. He did everything with his face. Same thing here. He conveyed the emotions of what he was hearing and seeing with his facial expressions, and not over the top, not cartoony. So yeah, I really like that. And again, it ends with no resolution. Which I found an interesting choice. But maybe that's why they, maybe if they were going to do that, it would have made the movie longer. But anyway, that's what I thought about it. So again, I'm telling you, Aamir Khan. I love Shah Rukh Khan. I love Salman Khan. I love Akshay Kapoor. Aamir Khan. But there's some hatred out there for him. And it's got to be political, because some of the people get kind of vicious with the reviews of his films. But you know what? I think he's an amazing actor, and I thought this was an amazing film. So that's my take on that. The next film I'm going to do, I'm very excited about this, and I want to announce this right now. The next 2 films I'm going to do in my 10ish-minute reviews are Tiger Zinda Hai, which was 2017, the sequel to E.K. Tha Tiger, which I loved. I'm going to see that. And tomorrow, I am going to the theater to see Tiger 3. It's playing in a theater near me, and I am going to see it, and then I will do a 10ish-minute review on that. So I'm going to review the trilogy, the Tiger trilogy with Salman Khan. So I'm really excited about that, because I love the action, and I'm hoping they really ramp up the action in the next 2. Anyway, so that's it. So that's my commitment to you guys. I'm digging this. I love this. And that alone should get you subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share it if you think others may enjoy these little 10ish-minute reviews. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. We're going to be tigerized.